Hey Archery Talk, this is Lucas, and today I've got my long-term review of the Mathews VXR 28 hunting bow. I've had this bow in now for more than 6 months as part of Archery Talk's 2020 hunting bow shootout, and I've got it dressed in a black gold whitetail sight, a QAD integrate arrow rest, and a Hamsky Raptor peep. This bow has an axle-to-axle length of 28 inches, a brace height of 6 inches, and an IBO rated speed of 344 feet per second. Now before we go any further, if you could please like, share, and subscribe, it would help the channel an awful lot. The VXR 28 carries an MSRP of about $1,000, which is kind of on the lower end of the flagship level aluminum hunting bow category. And this bow has an interesting new feature this year, at least an optional feature, in the Silent Connect system. Basically, you install these kind of into your limb pockets, front and top and bottom, and you can attach a sling or a rope quickly and silently. I actually used this in the woods this year. I was hauling up to tree stands and whatnot, and it really does work as advertised. It's a smart little system. I think you could pick one up for about $60. That'll give you the actual silent connectors and the rope to bring it up and down the trees. It's a cool little system. This obviously has some carryover features from the other bows. This was really a replacement for the Mathews Triax. They're both 28-inch bows. This bow has a slightly kind of, I would call it, a narrower 6-bridge riser system. It's also a little bit of a longer riser. So the string angle, despite the fact that the axle to axle is the same length as the Triax, the string angle is actually a little bit improved for longer draw length archers like myself. It's a great system. Also carrying over from the Vertix that was introduced last year is this integrate arrow rest system. Basically, it's a dovetail style rest mount. So you can clamp it in there right onto the riser, and it clamps in both sides so that when you tighten it down, it's not going to rotate on you. You can still use the typical burger hole if you don't want to use that system. The option is still there, but it's a great rest mounting option if you are interested in checking that out. Fit and finish on the VXR is excellent, and I am particularly fond of this ambush green color. I've always mostly been a fan of that Mathews stone finish, but this ambush green is probably my new favorite. It's a really cool looking setup. The strings are actually holding up better than any Mathews strings I've ever shot. I've had this for a long time. I hunted with this in the fall, and outside of some real minor string wear, which is expected after that kind of use, it's holding up exceptionally well. The peep's not rotating on me. Really happy with how the strings are working out on the Mathews this year. Also returning from the Triax family is the Engage grip system. This replaces Mathews' old grip, which I was not super fond of. I just found it a little bit kind of thick up towards the throat of the grip. And this one is nicely textured, so your hand's not going to slip around. It's going to keep the chill off you a little bit from the riser because it's a rubberized feeling. And overall, it's a fairly consistent and repeatable grip. Let's talk shooting, and this is an area where the VXR really thrives. The draw cycle on this bow is probably smoother than any bow I've ever shot. It's a little stiffer, so it's not the lightest feeling bow, but there is zero dip into the valley. You just kind of pull this bow and you're at the back wall all of a sudden, and it's buttery smooth. It's a system I really like. Valley is not as deep as some others, which again is something I prefer. I like to be forced to kind of pull through that shot a little bit more aggressively. It helps me stay more accurate. And the back wall is fairly firm. It's got a cable stops, which all my test bows do this year, and so there's a little tiny bit of give, but nothing serious. It's a fairly stiff feeling bow at full draw. After the shot, as you would expect from the Mathews in recent years, it is just crazy quiet and vibration free. Mathews has a recipe for success. I don't know what they've done exactly. I just know that it's working. As far as kind of consistently quiet and vibration free bows, they have really hit the nail on the head in that category. Accuracy wise, the VXR 28 also shines. I did some kind of group testing with all of the hunting bows in this year, and the VXR was right near the top of the list with a couple of other bows. I shot this bow. I did a full 720 round at 70 meters. That's the Olympic distance, and I shot as good of a score as I shouldn't say as good, just a hair under what I was doing with the full target bow setup. And this was set up just as a hunting bow, hunting sight, small hunting stabilizer, and a peep. Nothing you wouldn't take into the woods with you. And the accuracy was remarkable at that distance. Couldn't have been happier for a hunting bow. And the accuracy bellies the shorter axle-to-axle length. Bows like this have made me a believer in shorter axle-to-axle hunting bows, even for guys with longer draw lengths like myself. So really happy with how this bow shoots overall. Tuning the VXR 28 was no trouble at all. Again, this bow and most Mathews I've ever had are fairly easy to tune out of the box. If you are having some left to right troubles though, you have to pick up Mathews' top hat system. which are, it's basically a system of spacers that kind of go between the cams and the limbs, top and bottom, and you can kind of help move your cams left to right because there's no yoke cable, so it's not the quickest system to use. The yokes are a little simpler, but it's a very solid system and it works quite well. The only downside is you have to pay for it. It's about $50, I think, for a full top hat kit, which you could usually tune several bows with. But it's one of those things that would be great if it was included in the box. As for speed, I shot the VXR 28 set up at 70 pounds of draw weight and 30 1/4 inches of draw length. And with a 350 grain gold tip platinum pierce arrow, I saw speeds of 327 feet per second. And with a heavier 477 grain gold tip airstrike arrow, I saw 284 feet per second. That's plenty of speed for any hunting I'm ever going to do. It's a quick little bow, and it was actually the fastest of any of the bows I tested this year. The bottom line is, if you were looking for a compact, super accurate, and quick little hunting bow, the Mathews VXR 28 is well worth checking out.